Welcome.
To the joy of coding.
Hello! Whoops. Hello, and welcome to episode 116 of The Joy of Coding. My name's Mike Conley. Apologies about the positioning of the green screen here. It's all a little thrown together at the last minute. Let me just set some things here. I just made it in time. Actually, I'm a little bit late. I think I'm like 4 minutes late. I usually start like right at 1, and today I got a little bit distracted. But here we are, nonetheless, and let's see what we're up to today. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here today on October the 11th for episode 116. So here's my screen. Let me close that and switch to the agenda. Hey, today is October the 11th, 2017. A reminder, no plan survives breakfast. I don't really have a plan of what I want to do today. Well, that's not exactly the case. I sort of have a plan of what I want to do today, but things might go horribly wrong. This is unscripted, unplanned beyond just a very vague outline, so I'm making stuff up as I go, and that if things go wrong, that's okay. So don't be alarmed if I start panicking. A quick check, make sure everything's working. You can hear me. I'm recording. I'm not dropping frames. That's good. I want to call out the episode guide again. So this is a community-driven episode guide for the Joy of Coding. It's got episodes 1 all the way to 113. So quite a few of them. Some of them are some of these episode guides just link to the video and to the agenda, but some of them are a little more fleshed out. Some of them have like let me see if I can find a good example here. They'll have like topics that I covered and bug links and stuff. And so this is something that I don't really contribute to so much, but I maintain it. So if you have notes, your own notes, or you want to update the notes or change the notes, if you've been watching the series and you want to help contribute, you want to give something back, send a pull request with, corrections or notes or, I don't know, even video captions if you want. And send a pull request. And if you're not sure how to do that, I should mention, these links probably not super useful to you if you're just like looking at the video and trying to click on these links. So let me step back for a second. This agenda that we're looking at with all the useful links inside of it is actually available to you. If you're watching this on Air Mozilla, check out the additional links section down below. If you're on YouTube, check the video description. There's a link there. If you're watching this on Facebook, I just put up a pinned comment that should have the agenda. Let me just double check. Yep, and for the folks on Twitch, I'm now going to send you the agenda as well. Here's the agenda, and there's another link both inside the agenda and in the same place, depending, like just below the agenda link in those places that I mentioned, there'll be a link to rate the episode, and it's to this Google form that I use to hang on a second, am I streaming correctly on Facebook? Let me just double check here. Is this working? Are the folks on Facebook seeing this? I hope you're seeing this. Hope I'm streaming correctly on Facebook. It says I am. It says that I'm sending packets. Well, hopefully this is working. If not, I'll bet this is super boring. We'll find out shortly anyways. So yeah, that's the agenda. I'd mentioned the episode guide. If you're interested in contributing, there are links in the agenda on how you can send me a pull request. And even if you've never sent a pull request before, check out these links and they'll show you how to do it. One more shout out. I think I've got like 2 more shout outs before this happens. I'm going to be in London at the end of the month for Mozilla, the MozFest, or Mozilla Festival, which you may or may not have heard of. That's at Ravensbourne College in London on October 27th to 29th. I've got a slot there where I'm going to be doing the Joy of Coding live, more live than usual, because I'll be in front of people who can like ask me questions and figure out maybe they can make suggestions on things I'm working on, but basically I'm going to be doing Joy of Coding with a live audience. So if you're interested, I'm also going to try streaming it as well. So if you are not able to make it to Ravensbourne College, or if you don't have a ticket, you can still see what's going on. But if that's something that you're interested in seeing live, check out the MozillaFestival.org and buy a ticket. Tickets are apparently pretty reasonable, and if you're of the, let's see, the younger sort of youth age, if you're aged 18 and under, it's really, really quite competitive. I think it's like £3. So you should check that out. Let's see, do I have anything else I want to mention before we get started? No, let's keep going. And it does look like things are working on Facebook. I was a little worried, but it does look like things are working. It's just a little delayed. Okay, so let's work on some bugs. Let's get started.
Mamma mia!
Just playing a little sound there. I'll shut down activity monitor, shut down preview, just getting rid of stuff that I don't need running in the background. Okay, let's get started. So what I want to work on is something that we have been brushing up against for a couple of weeks. If you're not familiar with if you're not sure what I'm going to be talking about, I don't really want to waste time re-explaining it because I've already done that in previous episodes. You might want to check out episodes 111, 112, I think. Yeah, 111, 112, and I don't think... Yeah, 111 and 112, because I worked on that there, and I think I tried to work on it last week, but the build didn't complete in time, and we fixed something else instead. But basically, I want to work on the tab warming stuff again, because that's there's good work there, and there is an interesting problem, and the performance benefits for tab switching should be quite nice. So let's take a look. I've got the patches that I'd already written for this running and built on beast mode, which is my Linux box. Let me pump up the font here so you can see it. Pump up the font and then drag this up into the bottom. I think this is about where you can see the bottom. I can go a little further down. There, about there. And I'm going to sign into beast mode. Oh, come on. Do I have Oh, I had caps lock on. No, I didn't have caps lock on. I'm just typing too fast. There we go. And let's switch into my... Yeah, the build appeared to go alright, although there was some kind of like long I/O operation on the screenshots add-on. But that's okay. The build finished. So I've got a build working of the patches, and I have to remember what exactly we were working on. So I'm going to go back to my notes for tab warming, because I'm pretty sure what was going on was a test failure. We'd figured out another crasher. This is actually interesting. A couple of weeks ago, we had a crasher bug in this tab warming stuff, and then we wrote a patch for it. And then it turns out a couple of, like last episode, one of the things we noticed was that the crasher bug had been fixed by, or addressed by, someone else. So I had to like revert my changes. So that's good. It's good to have a be up to date with a recent version of the tree. And so I wanted to figure out what were the remaining test failures. What were they? I gotta find what my test failures were. Hang on. Warm. Tab warming. So there was... I think there's like one more. Yeah, it's browse this one. Audio tab icon. If I remember correctly, this test is still failing, and we can double check that here by going display 1, mock, Moki test, such and such. We're gonna run this test. I have to try and... I didn't write down why it was failing before, or... I don't think I did. Like the, what was it? Browser audio tab. Audio tab. I didn't write it down, which is really bad because now I'm going to have to like relearn why, because it's been a couple weeks. I have to relearn why it's broken. Unless it's not broken anymore. These tests all appear to be passing. Oh, and then we time out. Then we time out right here. So we wait. So I'm gonna have to remember. I have to redo an investigation and find out why. Find out why we're timing out in this test. I seem to recall that this has something to do with force paint and the Moz layer tree cleared event not firing, probably because if I remember correctly, something about the sequence numbers, the layer observer sequence numbers getting out of sync, and I wasn't sure why. Or no, maybe I think I had something I was tinkering with. Do I have anything? Did I shelve it maybe? Shelve. Yeah, I had something that I shelved 6 days ago. Let's see what it was. Shelve. Let's take a look at the patch. Yeah, I'd already started an investigation and I shelved the patch that I was doing the investigation with. So I should unshelve this. I think I just added a bunch of checkpoints in the test. To preserve layers. And then I said I got rid of the receive render layers part. Why? Challenge returning early. Force paint. I say in the tab parent, prepare to render layers. Prepare to render layers does the incrementing of the tree epoch. If we're enabled, we send force tab paint. Okay. So what I should do is I should definitely unshelve this and rebuild. So hopefully this doesn't take too long. In the meantime, there's other stuff we can do. But I've got my investigation here. I've got a patch that I shelved 6 days ago. Here, let me pump up the font. Shelved 6 days ago that was halfway through an investigation. I popped it off to see where I'm at. Okay, so it all merged correctly. I'm gonna build, and then I'm going to wait. And while we're waiting, we can work on something else. So one of the other things I wanted to work on was I've got review for this other bug, and I've got some review feedback, and I just need to fix it up, and then I can close it out. So here's the bug. If I go to this website, there's this website. If I go to it, it just runs this infinite loop in the browser, and then like hangs the browser, and then if I quit, the browser will like wait a whole minute before terminating the script. And that's because it's waiting to hear from the user whether or not, I don't know if you saw that little yellow bar come up on that tab, it's waiting for the user to say whether or not the user wants to kill the script. And we're not handling the case that either the browser has started to shut down or the user doesn't have any windows open, which can happen on OS X. So I added some cases Yeah, and that's just going to sit there and hang for a while until like the JS watchdog goes like, wait a second. Pretty sure that'll force kill in a sec. And so I wrote some patches to deal with it, and I believe I have some feedback I can work with here. So the first step is to rebase the patches. Let's see what I've got. Pump up the font. Pump up the jam. Pump it up. Pump the jam. I think I had something in here about this bug 1391594. There they are. It's kind of hard to read because the whip thing is moving all these. The graph is completely messed up because I've increased the font on the page. But like if I make the window wider, I think it becomes a little more sensible. But what I realize now is that there's this. This is the last commit, I believe, in a series. The test, and then I wrote a test. That's nice. And I'm gonna. There was also. Yeah, the test was the last one. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna rebase that. So pump up the font again, and bring up the bottom so you can see it. Here, this is really obnoxious. Let me clear that. I'm gonna rebase that on top of Central. So those three patches are going to get rebased on top of Central. Great. And this build's still going. This never quit. That's amazing. This should really have quit by now, but it didn't. So that's good because these patches are going to prevent that problem where we can hang on shutdown. So that's good. Quick shout out to my Twitch viewers. What's up, Twitch viewers? I see that there are 3 of you. Yeah, I think you're the only. I think it's possible for me to see how many people are watching on YouTube, but I don't know if I have access to that right here. Let's see. It's just while I'm waiting for these builds to finish, I want to see if maybe I can do some vanity inspection of my stream here. I'm also going to use this opportunity to make sure that the stream's going out okay. Yep, it's going out okay. And there are 4 people watching. So, what is up, people on YouTube?
Oh, yeah.
And I have no idea how many people are watching on Facebook or on Airmozilla. Those numbers I don't get. I have a feeling the number on Facebook is 0. That's what this is saying here. But that's okay.
It's me, Mario.
Okay, so the rebase is done. Let's stop wasting time. And what I can do, because those changes didn't end up affecting any binary code, is I should be able to just do mock build faster and then rerun the test. Or rerun our steps, and it should just kind of work. So I'll do mock build faster. And then once we're, I'll do this. I'll run the manual tests. I'll run the automated tests after the rebase, and then I'm gonna try applying Bill's feedback. So here, wait, I need the address of the test case. So I have another tab here. I'll send it to this thing that Pocket's sending me. So this is the notification bar I was talking about. Now if I close the tab, watch this icon here. This is how we know that the process is still running. I'm going to quit the browser. And then that, okay, the process went away properly. That's what we wanted. So that's good. And then what else do we want to do here? I'm going to make it so that if there are no windows, not that I quit the browser, but if I send the last window away, then we'll quit. So I close the last window. And then if I quit, yeah, it goes away. I don't know if that was exactly the right sort of test. I'm going to do that again. So I'm going to go to this thing, this hanging tab. I've got 71718. That's the process there, and it's just hanging. So I'm not going to get any. I'm actually not going to get anything listed in here for it because it's hanging. But I'm going to get rid of the last. How do I do this? How do I test to see if it stops hanging? Maybe I'll open up the activity monitor. 71718. This one. It's running at 100% CPU because we've got some JavaScript that's just going like blah, 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 blah. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the tab but keep the window open. No, that wasn't it. I'm going to close the tab. Right, that worked. Because I closed the last tab, but the process is still running because on OS X you're allowed to do that. Okay, so I'm pretty confident on that. And now I'm going to run the test that I had written for it. That was this test right here. Test such and such. Oh, I've got this big gap on the left side. I didn't realize that. Sorry. Yeah, this is probably breaking the illusion that I'm inside the computer. Let me fix that. I can do more to fix this. Hang on. I must maintain the illusion that I'm inside the computer. Good. So the tests passed. 21 passed, 0 failed. That's what I wanted to see. So thumbs up situation there. Let's that's still running. Okay. So now let's take a look at what Bill's feedback was. So Bill said two things. He said, is this necessary? We already remove event listeners when a window is closed. I'd rather not extra code if we don't need it. I actually don't think it is necessary now that I think about it. If there are, we already, listener manager, disconnect. So yeah, when we, you're right. You're right. I actually forgot that we did this and thought we had to do it manually. I thought we had to do it manually for some reason. So I'm going to mark this as fixed by simply dropping the patch. I'm going to drop this patch. So that's the first step. Let's drop this patch. That's easy-ish, should be. So what I'll do is I will say drop, mark that as fixed, let Mercurial figure itself out. Meanwhile, how's this going? I'm curious about SC cache. What are my cache hits? I'm missing the cache a lot, which is killing me. I think that's really slowing me down. I don't know why I'm missing the cache so much. Okay, there were some conflicts. That's all right. It's not too surprising. Process hang monitor. Let's take a look at what the conflicts were. Zoom in. So what this patch was going to do was whenever we DOM window closed might be a more reliable notification. Right. So instead of using an event, because we still want to deal with the idea that we're going to be closing windows, we want to, we want to stop hang reports on windows that have gone away. But Bill's saying that instead of doing that with the unload event, we'll do it with the DOM notification, DOM window closed observer notification. This is a little more balanced. So let's try that. So I'm going to save this. I think that's the only conflict. So I'm going to resolve. And I agree with Bill here, Bill's take, simply because we already have, there's like a nice symmetry here because we already have an observer for DOM window opened. So now we're going to just, and we get that via, I think we add ourselves as we're notified from the window watcher that windows are open and closed. So we should get a DOM window closed observation, and from that we should be able to basically rerun these other steps over here. So we'll wait on that. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, sorry about that, those sounds, that's just getting messages in Lime chat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add an observer for DOM window closed. So case DOM window closed. And then we're going to basically rerun the same set of instructions that we were running before, which is to untrack the window and then to update the window, all the windows. This dot update windows. Now I need to double check, is it necessary to untrack the windows? Update windows. It's probably not necessary. So I'm just going to get rid of that. Well, no, that's not true. I don't want to react to any late breaking events. So I'm going to untrack the window, update the window, and break. And it doesn't know what win is, right? So I'm going to do that. Linting saves me again. That's nice. So let's rerun our tests. First I'll build faster. And then come on. Wasn't one of these running the tests? Oh, it was this one. Okay. And that worked out. And I'm pretty sure the test handles the case that I'm dealing with here, where like we close a window. Let me just double check. I think we test that if there happen to be no open browser windows, we handle automatically. Test that if we're shutting down any pre-existing hang reports. There happen to be no open browser windows. We should add a new test for the Windows. Like if we have a pre-existing hang report and then we close the window, that's a new one. So we should add one more test. But this appears to be working. So this change here, I'm actually going to apply it to an earlier. I'm going to shelve it, go back one, apply it, amend, and go back up. Unshelve. Oh wait, no. Go back one. Mercurial. I wonder. One of the things I think I'm gonna do soon is reclone Mozilla Central. I feel like the Mercurial is not supposed to be this slow. I feel like I've accumulated a lot of stuff, like mutable change set history, and like all these nodes are in my Mercurial tree, and they're not supposed to be there. And I've talked to one of the core contributors to Mercurial, or yeah, I think he's part of the core Mercurial team. His name's Sid, and actually works at Facebook. And he was saying that, yeah, mutable change set, mutable history adds things to your tree that over time will likely slow it down. It just adds more and more and more nodes. And that Facebook is working on an alternative to mutable history. Mercurial. Change set evolution. Status. Developer pages, intended for developer. Roadmap. Stage B is in progress. Stage B. Performance impact should be reasonable, no impactful, including efficient exchange. So, yeah, I think it's still being worked on. And I'm not even sure if that's what my colleague at Facebook would recommend, using mutable change set history. It's possible that, I think he said that there's something else coming down the pipe that might be better. But that's what I use these days, change set evolution. So I'm going to apply the changes we just made onto this earlier change set, and then evolve, so that will rebase this top change set on top of it. And then what am I going to do next? I just by looking at the patch, I saw a typo in this test commit, so I'm going to fix that typo, amend this change set, and then add another change set on top that adds our new test, which is what happens whenever we have a hang and then the window goes away. So, hey, and this compile failed. Why did this compile fail? Scroll up. Why this compile fail? Oh my goodness, that's a lot of... I'm looking for the error. Where's the error? Probably be above all these log messages. It's whenever things start getting a little noisier. Looking for a compilation problem. Why are you failing to compile? Ah. Mock build binaries. Maybe that will tell me. In the meantime, now I'm at this top commit. I'm going to fix my typo. And that was, whoop, where is it? Here. I saw the typo here. Test that if there happens to be no open browser windows. So then I will amend that, and then I'm going to add yet another test. Pardon me. So I'm going to add another test. Test that if a hang occurs in one browser window and that browser window goes away, that we kill kill the script. That we clear the hang. Terminate closed window. So we open the test window, we create these different types of hangs, we say that there is a hang report. We don't do this hack to hide the browser window. Plug and hang. And then what is this test hang report? Which browser does it associate itself with? Is report for browser. So it'll report true for every browser. A frame loader, hang type slow script. Frame loader. We'll have it so that you can supply a frame loader that it's supposed to belong to. Browser. Param. Browser. Optional. The Zool browser that this hang should be associated with. If not supplied, the hang will be associated with every browser. Browser. This dot browser equals browser. And then what we're going to do is report for browser. If not this dot browser, return true. Or how about this? If this dot browser, then we'll return this dot browser dot frame loader equals a frame loader. Okay. Open new browser window and test win. Then what we're going to do is let test browser equal testwin.g browser.selected browser, test browser, and test browser. Then we're going to notify the observers, and then we're going to close the window testwin, and then we're going to wait that it got dealt with. That's it. That should be the test. Pretty sure. So let's run the test again. And here's our build failure as before. So first things first, I'm working on two things at the same time. I'm going to run this test, and then we're going to see if we can figure out what our build failure is on beast mode for the tab warming stuff. Test failure. Test is not working as we had expected. Okay. We associate it with a particular browser. Then when we close, let's only run this one. Is there a setup? I don't think oh, there is a setup. Okay. So I'm going to skip all the other tests. We're just going to run this last one. Skip. Skip. And skip. And skip. And skip. And one more. Skip. So this should hang. And then we're going to see what's up. Yeah, that hangs. That's fine. And so we're probably waiting on this. We close the window. Let's start logging a little bit. Or even better, we can use the debugger. So in process hang monitor, let me just make sure it's all built properly. In process hang monitor, we can probably do this and then do that again, and then we're going to run process hang monitor, the test, but with the JS debugger. Meanwhile, is there anything going on in here that makes it clear what the test failure is? Come on. Error. Prepare to render layers was not declared. I failed to declare the function. Oh, okay. So it's just broken code. It was halfway through being written and it's broken. Okay. DOM IPC tab parent.h, and so it's prepare to render. Yeah, it's not there. Prepare to render. Yeah, okay. So I need a new private function. Is there another area where we declare private functions? Not really. So I'll just put it at the top. Private, right here. So void bool, okay. So I'll say void prepare to render layers bool. So now try to build it. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we are going to run our test here. And we hit our debugger breakpoint, that's good. So the window is closing. Get the window, we're going to untrack the window, and we're going to update windows. So this is what I'm interested in. Get the enumerator. Update window. If report, hide notification. Active reports. Active reports. There are some entries in here. Track window. Then we leave. Hmm. So it's not exactly right. Well, has more elements. Get the window. Update the window. Find active report. Active reports dot ports. If this is shutting down, then stop the hang. Stop it. Stop hang. DOM window closed. We update the windows. So I'll stop. I'll offer stopping the hang. Active hang reports. We probably only want to do this if the active reports belong to something within this window. We might want to add an extra step here where it's like update window. We're going to find an active report. Report. I feel like this is where we do it. So what I basically want to do is I want to know whenever a window or is a set of one or more. I want to know if there's a report for which there is no appropriate window. And then if so, we can deal with it. Update window. So we go through each window and then we see if there are any active reports for the selected browser. And we show and hide the notification as necessary. And then maybe what we could have this do is go through each of the browsers and see if there is an active report. Go through each report and see if it belongs to any of the browsers. And if so, return the ones that belong to it, add that to a set. And then once we're done going through all the windows, we'll have like the set of reports that belong to Windows, and we have our active reports. And then when we subtract the ones that belong to Windows from the active reports and the remaining ones, we should stop immediately. Okay, I think we can do that. So I'm going to add some extra logic here. Meanwhile, this build finished. So we're going to rerun our test. Okay, so update. So we're going to returns set the set of hang reports that have associated browsers in this window. So the set of active hang reports? Yeah, the set of hang reports. So how would we do this? You're kind of taking the product. For each one, we go through each browser. Find active report. So here's the Cartesian product, because we're going to go through each browser. Or what might be better is if there is a hang report .idl. If there is a report for browser there's a hang report. I wonder if what we could do is expose the process ID and then instead of like doing this comparison, is report for this browser, is report for this browser, we just go through each browser. We have like the set of processes that are currently hung, and for each window go through each browser and see if any of them belong to that process by just comparing process IDs. Is that any better? Is it better than like calling into JS for each one, or calling into C++? Could also go through, so is report for browser. I wonder if we could add some tab parent get from frame loader. See if they have the same manager. Content PID, hang data. So we have the PID here. Yeah, I wonder if that's better. So, sorry for the brain sounds there, but uh, expose process ID in SI hang report, and then what we'll do, the algorithm will be when updating Windows. We want to return the list of hang reports that belong, or after updating the windows, showing and hiding notifications for each selected browser. Collect all of the open Windows browsers process IDs and collect all of the hang report process IDs and get the difference. The difference, if any, will be the remaining hang reports that don't belong to any browser windows, and we can kill these immediately. Okay, that's what I'll do. Meanwhile, in beast mode, this test failed again. And it timed out. Let's take a look at the log. Yeah, we requested tab and it never shows up. Requested tab is requested and it's in this sort of like requested state and it never shows up. That's why we time out. So we're at perma spinner. That's a long timeout. Okay, come on. That's setting. Tab should be blank. So start. Here's the start of the tab switch. This is loaded. We loading tab 1, which is at about blank. So we switch to tab 2. It's showing blank. And then the load timeout happens because we never. So we show perma blank forever. At one point we stop with the blank attribute. When does that happen? Because the tab shouldn't be blank anymore for some reason. I don't know why. But it stops being blank. But we request it. So we start, let's go back up to the start. Show tab, switch to tab 2. I actually don't see any waiting, entering test bound, test page, waiting on opening a new foreground tab, waiting on tab switch done, selecting a tab at A, adding a new tab. Bailing out because layer observer epoch 3 is, and layer observer epoch is 2. Bailing out because M layer observer epoch is 3. So I added that. Bailing out bailing out because DOM IPC tab child bailing out because that and that. So I'm gonna do is say let's set this as a breakpoint. So there's a way in the Gecko code to say if I hit this code, enter a breakpoint. Request to break into a debugger. sdebug nsdebug break. And then we're going to say file, yeah, file underscore underscore file and underscore underscore line. So let's build that. Or actually, I don't want it to break. Sorry, I don't want it to break. I want to be able to I want to use RR and go backwards. Receive render layers, a layer observer epoch. The layer observer epoch that's going to come down. Send render layers. Prepare to render layers. I'm just going to, so I'm going to get rid of this, sorry. I don't want this. What I want to do is add more logging. Prepare to render layers has set mLayer tree epoch to be I. And then I'm going to put that on the next line, sorry. And the way we currently do it, mLayer tree epoch in tab parent. So we do that even if we're about to force tab paint. Okay, that's fine. So force tab paint is sending epoch I tree epoch. And then render layers is sending epoch I. And then is there anything else that manipulates layer tree epoch? No. Okay. So let's build that and then rerun. Meanwhile, we had a plan. So NSI hang report, we're going to expose the process ID. And we did that. We have something called OSPID elsewhere. SI tab parent. I wonder if we want to yeah, read only. The OS level process ID of the related child process. Of the child process that is hanging. And then ns hang report dot cp hang reports. We have is report for browser. Where is that? Process hang monitor. Is report for browser. That's there. Guess I should probably SI method get OS PID. Is that how it works? Get OS PID. Yeah, and then it's gonna say it's SI method, and it's an int32 AID. Okay. And then in this report for browser, SI method imp hang monitored process get OS PID TAID. So we have this like M content parent, M manager. What is the M content parent? And hang monitor. Content parent. We have a content parent, and content parent has PID. PID, yeah. And so we can do a, whoops, AID equals M content parent. Now do we have to check that the M content parent exists? S ensure state M content parent. What does ensure state do again? State as error unexpected. Or maybe I'll just go if not M content parent, return S error unexpected. And then we do PID. Return S OK. And that should give us the PID of the hang report. And then that means that how am I going to test this? There's no way to get the tab parents for a window, is there? Because maybe that'd be better. You pass it a window and just say like, does this hang report belong to anything in this window? Tab parent.h. Is there a mapping from tab parents to windows? Hash map or map hash key window. I don't think there is. But let me just double check. Content parent. Release cache min tab select a near use browser process. Get all even if dead. Get remote type. Report is available as alive is for browser such and such. How about NSI content parent? Is content parent as and virtual. No, I don't think there is. Is there a better way of getting like tab parents? Is there any window root? Aha! Enumerate browsers. Hey, there's a way of enumerating the browsers. Browser enumerate function. Top level win, enumerate browsers. So maybe instead of exposing the window doc. Maybe what I should do is pass in a window. What's this do? Void arg. Browsers, we go through the weak browsers, we see if there is a get key. Iterating the weak browsers for a window. So each window knows about the browsers. Oh, I see, okay. And if they still exist. Okay. And we add and we remove. So that might be better. We'll enumerate the tab parents for each window. So instead, maybe what I'll do is, instead of adding an OSPID, we'll say bool is report for window. And then I'm going to pass in SI DOM window. Is that what one passes in these days? Or is it supposed to be like DOM window or Mozi DOM window proxy? Yeah, I think that's what's supposed to be, a Mozi DOM window proxy. Mozi DOM window proxy. Inquire whether the report belongs to any browsers within a certain window. Within a given window is report for window. So instead of saying get OSPID, we're going to say is report for window. And instead of taking an int32, we're going to get a mod. Let's see. Let's look at an example here. Move focus. yeah, we get a Moz IDOM window proxy a window, and we're gonna return some bool should report to window from service worker. So should report to window. We're gonna have a bool result. And then if there's no content parent, we're out of here. We should probably do this sort of release assert business. If there's no actor, and then what we should do here is for the window, we should see if we can get it to the top window. Target win, scriptable top. Is that what we want? Get scriptable top. Script reads window top. No, we don't want that. Progress dialog. Parent. Auto parent window. From parent. PI DOM window outer. And what we want is the thing, we want NS window root. How do I get that? I need to see an example top level win. Get window root. Basically this. PI DOM window outer window. So I'm gonna do this and then DOM window outer from parent. PI DOM window outer from a window. Parent window. Outer. I'll call it outer. And then outer. If not outer, here result equals false, return as okay. Get the extant doc, top level win. If not top level win, a result equals false, return as okay. Maybe I should just be like a result equals false to begin with. And then I'll say top level win, debug. We're going to iterate the, where is it? Top level win, enumerate browsers, and pass it and what it gets is, what is it? It's going to get each tab parent, the arg, when enumerate browsers, so we want to pass it, we want the report to go through. Check tab, compare tab parent check if report matches tab parent. I'll call it that for now. Belongs. There's probably a better name for that. And then we enumerate. Oh man. But then there's no return value. Shoot. There's no return value. Weak browsers. I could pass in a structure that contains both ourselves and a result. Oh boy, this is getting complicated. You know what I might do is talk to Bill M to see if he has a better idea. Alright, I'm going to shelve this for now. That's getting complicated. In the meantime, let's rerun our test here. Now that I've got some more logging. Enumerate the browsers. I want to get... Is there another way of enumerating tab parents? I feel like this has happened before, where like we wanted to notify the tab parents about something. Maybe it was this though. Notify children UI resolution changed. Is there no other mapping? Add browser. Tab browser, we add browser. Store tab parents with their window root. This was 3 years ago. Get the window root. Get the window root. Remove browser, enumerate the browsers. And then that's it. Weak browser, enumerate. Set owner element. So instead of, what were we doing before? Call on remote children. Call on all remote children. Was that? That's not what we want to do. And there's like SI DOM window utils. I think this is the right way to go with the enumerating of the tab children or the tab parents. Okay, our test is in the delayed part, the part that's taking forever. That's good. Let's see if we can go back to the top of this tab switch and see what's going on. Selecting, adding a new tab. Prepare to render layers has set M layer epoch to be 1. And then prepare to render layers has set M layer tree epoch to be 2. Force tab paint and render layers sending epoch to be 2. And then force tab paint sends epoch 3. And then when do we bail out? On layers ready. Oh, then the layers become ready here. And we're waiting to unload. So this is a slightly different problem. So I think we have a race where sometimes we do one thing, sometimes we do the other thing. That's not good. Or we're waiting for this unload to occur. And when do we start the unload? Here, prepare to render layers, SAM layer tree epoch to be. Huh. Okay. If I remember correctly, we told the browser front end render layers. When we are unloading, we say to unwarm the tab, and we say that the dock shell is not active. We set it to not active. And then set dock shell is active. Then we prepare to render layers. And then we send that. Render layers. But we've stopped in tab child. Receive set dock shell is active. Internal set dock shell is active. And then so I commented these out for some reason. Now why would I have done that? Because that's the problem. Maybe it's because I want render layers true. Maybe it's because I want this to happen. L. Whoops. This is sloppy, but I'm gonna go tab parent.render layers false. Okay, run that again. surely there's some way of looping over, like some better way of looping over the browsers of a window and getting some kind of result about them in the native layer. But there might not be. Jeez. I mean, maybe it's okay that we do the Cartesian product. And just for each hang report, see if any browser belongs. Hmm. In the end, that's what we're going to be doing. I think what I was trying to do was avoid the... I was trying to... Oh, have we completed the test? We may have. Okay. Let's try it again. Maybe that's all it took. Decouple setting the dock shell to be active from rendering the layers. Huh. Let's just see what happens here. Okay, sitting here for a while. That's good. This is what I wanted to see. One of our races. Just hanging out. So let's go up and see what happened. We're requesting a tab and it never shows up. Why not? Start. Layer epoch is 1. Set it to 2. Force tab paint. Send epoch 2. And then render layers is also sending epoch 2. Force tab paint again, sending epoch 3. How many times do we call force tab paint? Force tab paint. We should call it only once. In tab parent force tab paint. Prepare to render layers. Okay. Switch to tab 2. It's blank. Setting mlayer observer epoch to 2. Why? Setting mlayer observer epoch. child to 2. Prepared render layers is set M layer tree epoch to be 4, 5. We unload timeout. And then it properly unloads. Okay. So a couple questions. How come there are 2 force tab paints being sent? Is it because we are... Oh, you know what? Prepare layers set M layer observer epoch. M layer tree epoch. Tree epoch here. From previous set doc shell is active requests are ignored. Parent render layers called with A enabled set to. I'm just going to do some sloppy logging. A enabled, true, false. What else do I want to know? Force tab paint sends to, and then render layers sends to. Force tab paint goes first. Maybe that's the issue, is that we're increasing the probability that force painting is going first before we say render layers. Prepare to render layers. Like, what if force tab paint is coming down? I'll receive force paint, print received message to force paint with layer observer epoch. A layer observer epoch. And then receive render layers. Then we bail out. If we're already visible, print, we're supposedly already visible, so no opping. Otherwise we make visible. This is unlikely, but no doc shell, no opping. Set active. Okay, making a layer, sending, painting layers, and uploading to compositor. Making hidden. That's if. Wait a second. Wait a second. What is this else condition? If enabled. Okay, good. Printf. Render layers is going to attempt to paint and upload layers. What time is it? 2:45. I think I'm going to wrap this up in a sec. I've got some meetings to attend to. I've got some stuff going on. And oh boy, what's my calendar? A lot of people trying to talk to me. I think I'm going to cap it after this next run through the logs. Let's see what's going on. So wait for this to link. Link. Okay, linking, linking, linking. Okay, run. Here we go. It's going to take a little while. Requesting, 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 requesting. Okay. So we got our state. Let's go up and see what's going on. Start. Loading one tab over here. So we sending epoch 2. Randomized sending epoch 2. Requesting tab. Force tab. Paint. Set to true. So prepare to render layers is actually called twice, which is very interesting. Like here, then we force tab paint, render layers, and then here. So prepare to render layers. And the set doc shell is active bit. So I wonder if we should be doing the if I should be decoupling set doc shell is active. Decoupling this part. Like, don't do this part. Because we're decoupling the making of the doc shell is active from the rendering of layers, I think. So delay switch time so it's blank. And it just sits there. Render layers is it going to attempt, and then we're apparently already visible, so no opping. We're supposedly already visible, so no opping. Aha. Why would we be visible already? Tab child. kernel set doc shell is active. How does it currently work? We see if we were already active. Oh. If we're already visible. I don't think we actually want this stuff. Because we might be visible, but we haven't painted yet. That might be the other part of the problem here. So I'm going to build that. I think I'm going to call the stream here. This has been very sloppy debugging. It's my brain is all over the place. I apologize. A lot of experimentation, and I hope the stream was okay. Thank you so much for watching episode 116, I believe, of The Joy of Coding. Yep. And, you know, I'll see you next week. Next week should be more of this. Thumbs up. Do let me know in the agenda what you thought of this episode. There's a rate this episode link in here, and anywhere else I've placed the agenda right below. There should be a rate this episode link. And I'd love to know what you thought. So do send comments my way. I read everything that comes in. And that's it. So thanks again for watching. Let me switch over here. And I hope you have yourselves a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.